Interestingly, while the daughters ran excitedly into the house to choose their rooms, the family dog, Sadie, stood at the door, shaking like a leaf. No matter how Roger, the dad, tugged, Sadie was scared of something inside. Roger thought Sadie was adjusting, so he went back to his work. That night, the girls played hide and seek. They accidentally knocked down a partition in the stairwell. Roger, hearing the noise, rushed over and stumbled upon the entrance to the basement. See a place the cellars had completely. He called for his wife to hand him a matchbox and boldly ventured down, where he found himself in a kingdom of cobwebs, with furniture that looked like it had been in a time capsule. Clearly, nobody had set foot down there in ages. With the excitement of having an extra room, Roger was grinning from ear to ear and said he'd tidy it up, but after everyone hit the hay, Sadie was barking up a storm in front of Caroline's room. But after a long day, no one seemed to notice. The next morning, when Caroline woke up, Roger was already down in the basement clearing out junk when he noticed a mysterious bruise on his calf. He wondered, did I bump into something moving yesterday, or do I just have a black and blue gift from the moving gods? He turned around to rejoin the basement cleanup. Seeing the spacious basement, Roger was delighted to see saving lots on renovation. But just as they stepped out, they suddenly heard little sister scream, sending Caroline dashing out only to find out that poor Sadie, who was full of life yesterday, had passed away. They had to tearfully bury the pooch by a river near the front door. Fast forward to 3:07 a.m. The second sister was deep in dreamland when she suddenly thought her little sis was tugging at her and told her to quit the shenanigans. She even grumbled about her stinky food, not realizing she wasn't out of bed. Meanwhile downstairs, Roger felt a chill and thought he'd go check which window was wide open, only to bump into his eldest daughter coming down. She told Roger that the fourth sister was sleepwalking again. Since Dad had always said not to wake someone who was sleepwalking, she had no idea what to do. By the time Roger made it to his eldest daughter's room, the fourth sister was standing there, banging her head against the wardrobe door like it was an unexpected DJ booth. Roger noticed another bruise on Caroline. Oddly enough, she seemed blissfully unaware. Instead, she thought she was just lacking nutrition and shrugged it off. Just as Roger was gearing up to head to, a pigeon inexplicably crashed into the outer wall of their house. See, seriously, what's going on here? Caroline went to check on her little girl and found her chatting up the air, only to discover she was talking about her imaginary friend, Roy. Caroline thought it was just a prank bug, so she asked, "Where's your friend Roy?" "I don't see him." Her little girl handed her a toy and said that when it stopped spinning, Roy will appear. The little sister once again suggested playing a game with Mom, and she carefully covered Caroline's eyes. The game involved hiding, with each player clapping 3 times to give hints on their location. If you find the other person after the last clap, you win. Following the previous claps, Caroline dashed to the eldest daughter's room. At this precise moment, the wardrobe door behind her slowly and silently creaked open, and precisely at that very instant, the little sister stepped out from the side without a sound, leaving Caroline utterly stunned and speechless. Did she really hear that wrong? What she didn't know was that this was just the beginning of a very wild ride. Later that evening, the second daughter suddenly felt something gently tugging at her hand. Thinking it was just her little sister playing tricks again, she scolded her to stop fooling around. But before she could finish her sentence, the second daughter was wide awake and terrified. She turned to see her little sister sleeping soundly, raising her suspicions about what might be lurking under her bed. She leaned over the bed to peek underneath and got the fright of her life. It looked like something was glaring at her from behind the door, and she trembled as she called out for Nancy. She pointed back towards the door, asking, "Do you see it?" But when younger sister Nancy woke up, she couldn't see anything at all there. In spite of the second sister's objections, she walked straight over and shut the door, unfortunately finding absolutely nothing behind it. But something still smelled weird, and the second sister was still shaking with fear. It seemed she was the only one able to see whatever was lurking. She started it. "She's standing right behind you." Just then, Roger and the other sisters rushed in, drawn by the strange smell. The second sister spilled everything she saw, describing a woman in the room, threatening them all to face their doom. The other sisters looked absolutely horrified at the girl's depiction, clearly shaken and disturbed by it. There couldn't really be anything in this room, could there? Everyone felt a shiver run down their spines. Yet when they all returned to the room, Caroline was astonished to discover more bruises on herself out of nowhere, like she was now the bruise champion. She took out some pills and swallowed them, hoping they would slightly enhance her body's resilience. Just as she was tidying up her clothes and getting ready for bed, a loud clap echoed from the hallway. Assuming the kids were still awake, Caroline started going room to check. But right as she approached the fourth sister's room, a child's laughter rang out from the hallway. Then suddenly, all the picture frames fell off the walls, startling Caroline nearly out of her socks. She rushed downstairs, trying to coax whatever was making the sun to come out quickly. But when she followed the sound to the basement and realized the door was wide open, her heart raced. With bated breath, Caroline carefully switched on the lights and peered around the basement. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button for even more content.